Hello and welcome to my channel. So like the wisdom goes, history is always repeating itself. So what do we mean by that? It's because people or a group of people normally do not learn the first time. People, they learn after some time, after getting things wrong. There are a few cases where people, they learn first time. So why are we talking about this? In this video, I'm going to show you how to properly record lessons learned in a project if you're a project manager. So now you might be wondering, how do we record these lessons learned? We are now going to cover it in the next section of this video. So I would encourage you to watch it up to the end. So let's get started. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Oscar Mbira. I'm a certified program and project manager. This is the channel I use to help aspiring and practicing project managers to succeed. In this video, I'm going to take you through how to create and how to log and update lessons learned in a project. So, for example, say you have just been appointed a project manager, or you've been appointed to run a project which was not part of your plan, and you are wondering, where am I supposed to start from? What am I supposed to do? How can I get information about this project? How can I pick lessons from the previous projects? Don't worry, this video is for you. So if you're a project manager, there are certain or several ways to pick lessons learned. So the first one that I want to talk about is lessons reports. Assuming your previous project managers, they were recording lessons before you were appointed. That is another source of information in terms of picking lessons learned. So you go back to their reports, especially the closure reports. There is always a section to put lessons learned, which you can use in the future. Or probably you're just wondering, how am I going to pick previous lessons and use them here? Or maybe, how am I going to have the lessons used in the future projects? You use what you're going to cover in this video. I hope you have enjoyed the video so far. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to click the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification button so that you are the first person to be notified each time a new video is uploaded on this channel. The second source of lessons learned is your organization or corporation or company, whatever project you're doing for, even if it's government. So that is another source of lessons learned. Every organization, or most organizations these days, they have a list of lessons learned before any project is started. They normally go through them just to sensitize the project team. What to do and what not to do, what to avoid and what to consolidate. So that is also another source of lessons learned that you should use, your organization. You should always have people, you should always check with people who have run the projects before you. I've seen a situation where someone was a project manager. Due to some other reasons, they decided to change the field from project management to branch operations. So they were moved there. But it does not mean that the experience they had with the previous project is gone. No. They still have that information. So it is also in your interest to follow up with those people and try to get as much information as you can in terms of lessons. The other source, which is very open and is for free, is to go through the former project members. For example, we have a project structure. We have a project board. You have your project program managers, your project manager, team manager, and then the team members. That hierarchy or the structure is another gold mine of lessons learned. You can also have a discussion with former sponsors of projects. They also have a lot of information. You can also check with project board members. They also have a lot of information. As board members or as a sponsor, you'll find that there are some decisions they made which they regret because they were wrong decisions. There are also some decisions which they made and celebrate because they were good decisions. So when you ask for lessons learned, you are getting from both a positive and a negative side, especially from the project board. Then you go a level lower, then you go one level below, you have program managers, you have also project directors. This is also another source of information in terms of lessons learned. So what I would advise, which I normally do, I also look for those people, have some few discussions. It doesn't have to be very formal. You can even make it informal. Maybe you're having coffee, lunch, or dinner, or just a normal talk in an office. you get to appreciate, you get to know from their experience, what is their view, especially for the incoming projects. How best can you tap into their experience, into their knowledge? What do they think? What kind of guidance can they give to you? I normally do that. It is very, very helpful. It helped me, and I also believe it will help you. Then, the other level below that is other project managers. Only for a few projects, you are going to find that you are a pioneer project manager in that area. Most of the projects, they have people who have run them before you. So, you search for those project managers. That is, if you have managed to build your network on project managers, which is one of the skills that you should have. I've also done a video on how to build those skills. You can also check on my channel. So, once you have been in touch with your project managers, once you have been in touch with other project managers, you can also tap into their experience, tap into their guidance, their knowledge, their teachings, whatever you can pick from them that is going to affect the project at hand or the project you're about to embark on. So that is very crucial. The next level, you go to the team managers or team leads. For example, what I normally do in my projects, I create a structure in such a way that I have work streams for each and every section. For example, if I was to run a construction project, I'll have a work stream for plumbing. I've got a work stream for building the structure. I've got a work stream for roofing, for electricals, for tiling, and so on and so forth. Then I put individual work stream leads, individual work stream managers to help me run the project. They are the eyes of the project manager when the project manager is not there. I can tell you from my experience, that layer of project team managers or team leads is a gold mine of lessons learned. Those are the people who are in the trenches, although at leadership level, but they are in the trenches. And they have a lot of information. They made some decisions, wrong decisions, good decisions. They've learned so many lessons. They are now very effective in the way they do things. So if you want to pick any lessons learned for any specific project, that layer of team managers and team leads is very critical. It's very important that you sit with them, you gain knowledge. Then the last layer, it is the team members. If you are lucky to find anyone who has participated, if you are lucky to find someone who has participated as a team member, I normally want to call them foot soldiers. Those are the people who are doing the actual work. It's also another gold mine of getting lessons learned. They know the pain of doing the project. They know the pain of sleepless nights. They know the pain of going for hours without eating. So they also know the pain of how a certain task should have been done better than it was done in the previous project. I normally do informal discussions with the team members, maybe over coffee, over lunch, or anywhere else, just to get their feeling. And I can tell you, this is the only layer that can give you raw information. No politics, no spicing of words, no good selection of words. They will just tell you as is. If it was a leadership problem in the project, they'll tell you this project is not going to be completed because of leadership issues, because of sponsorship, because of costs, because of environment, because of skills, because of headcount. So, a project member is very important. So, as you are about to embark on a new project, make sure you have an opportunity to discuss with the former project members, to discuss, especially with those who were participating in failed projects, or those successful projects, yes, you pick, but the failed ones, those people, they have some level of frustration psychologically, which they will be open to you and tell you why that specific project failed, or it was delayed, the reason why it didn't meet the objectives. You will get it from the foot soldiers, which is the last layer of team members. As you move from the structure of the project, the other source of project lessons, it is everywhere on the internet. There are certain internet sites you can even go and check for case studies of projects. They even document what went wrong, what went right. So you can also visit those sites and also get to know what exactly went wrong, how can we use it in your project. Then the last part of it, you can even check with any organizations in the same industry like you, Not the ones who are very much on the competitive side. Obviously, you will not get some cooperation. But those who are not on the competitive side, but also in the same industry, you would find either you might get some documentation in terms of the lessons that were learned from previous projects, or maybe you might even get some guidance in terms of the don'ts and the do's for the project that you're about to start. So once that is done, it is now apparent to you to record those lessons. You open a lessons log or lessons tracker where you record all these lessons and keep an eye on them throughout the project from the beginning, that is from the start, initiation, all the way up to the closure of the project. Anything that was recorded for a specific stage or for a specific phase of the project, before you embark on starting that stage, make sure you read the lessons learned so that you're able to apply them throughout that stage or that specific phase. That is very crucial, very important for a project manager to do. Lessons learned can come in any format. There is no very specific format that you have to use. However, there are some recommended templates or formats. If you use them very well, it's very important and it's going to make your project very successful. So we are going to get into the details of these templates. What information are you supposed to record in those templates? I've also created a downloadable template. You can find the link in the description below. If you want me to create an additional video based on the concepts and the ideas that we have covered in this video, or there are any specific clarifications that you need through another video, let me know in the comment section below. Now, I have to use my computer. So let's go to my computer. I'm going to take you through the template. So we're going to continue with this video using my computer. I'm going to take you through the template which I've created. So instead of typing the template from the beginning, I realized this video was going to be very long. So I'm going to take you through the most critical parts. I'm going to take you through the most critical fields or columns that you must capture as a project manager under the lessons learned log. So let's get to my screen. So as you can see from the screen, there is a column A, or the first column. This is where you assign the lesson length ID. Your lessons must have an ID. You cannot create lessons without any specific reference. You must be able to say within the project, I'm talking about lesson number 3, number 4, number 5, like that. So this section is where we have the lesson IDs. Let me just put a different color just for you to see. Okay, I'll put this one yellow. So you supply the lesson ID, and then on the phase, the template which I use, I also have a link to these templates if you want to download it. I also have a link to these templates in case you want to download it for free. Check in the description below this video. Check in the description below this video. So you need to capture the phases of your project. Don't worry about what I've defined here already. You can still customize these templates to fit your specific projects. So according to my phases I have here, I've got project kickoff. I also have the initiation, analysis, design, build, testing, deployment, and post-live. So you will see that most of these phases that I've captured here, they are mainly related to software development. So when you're capturing lessons, just make sure you capture the right phase, so that if you are to pass these lessons to the next project, at least they know which phase was this lesson captured. So this is very important, and you must make sure that it's part of your lessons log. The second column is category. I've also pre-captured the categories that you can use in a project. For example, it could be technical, it could be integration, infrastructure, testing, quality assurance, regulatory, compliance, security, training, change management, vendor, stakeholder, or it could be project governance, project planning, methodology, resources, and deployment. So these are different categories that you must specify when you're capturing any lessons learned. If someone is going to go through this template of lessons learned, they should be able to pick which category was it belonging to. Then description, this is free text. You can put whatever you want here. Just make it as self-explanatory as possible. Then also on the impact, normally you have 4 categories to classify your lessons. Is it something that is critical as a lesson? Is it something that is of high importance, or medium, or low? So the impact must also be captured here. Okay, I'm just giving an example. Here I'm going to put technical, just to make sure our template is completed. And also here I'm going to put initiation. Okay. All right. So root cause, you also need to capture what causes that lesson that you are sharing on this template. It could be requirements. Let me put it clearer. I'll put incomplete requirements. Okay. Okay. Just put some space here. And then what do you recommend? This is also, then the column for what do you recommend? This is also very important. After learning this lesson, either in the current phase of the project or in the current project, what do you recommend from there? So probably you might say, I recommend clear requirement definition. Okay. Just an example. Okay. Then what was the action taken? Probably you revisited the gathering phase. This is for the requirements. Okay. Then who is responsible for that? You need to capture the person who is responsible for this, or the person who actually helped to pick this this lesson. So let's put it as Oscar. I'll just put my name, and then date it was captured. Probably I put 1st of June. This is the date format. You put whatever date format you want as you customize the templates. Maybe 2024 is an example. And then also on the status, I've just preloaded the options. Let me scroll here. Let me try to increase the font. Okay. So on the status, I've also preloaded the status. You can have it open, in progress, or even closed. So I'll just say in progress. Okay. So comments maybe to be closed in 2 weeks. That is what I'm just putting here. So in a nutshell, this is how you progress. You start with the lessons ID. This is a free format number. You can put whatever format you think is good for you. There's no restriction here. And then you put the phase. You can choose the different phases that you have. Then category, also you can put the number of categories that you have depending on the type of project that you're running. Then the lesson description, this is very important. You need to describe in detail what exactly is the lesson. I'm just putting testing as an example. Then also the impact of that lesson. Was it critical, high, or medium? That is also important for you to make a reference in the future. Then the root cause of the lesson, as well as any recommendations. Then the action taken, and who is the responsible person, the date it was captured, and what is the status of that lesson, and other comments. So this is just a template. You are free to come up with any additional headings, additional information that you can add here, just to make sure that your lessons are captured properly. I've seen also in some companies or organizations, they actually have their own organizational templates that you have to follow. The advantage of making it electronic is you're able to filter by different fields that we have. So if I was going to go to filter, I could filter by any field here that is available. I can filter by any field here. So it makes it very easy. So this is what I wanted to demonstrate in terms of the templates. You can download it using the link in the description if you want to use it, customize it for a specific purpose, and move on. This is very, very important. You must have a template for all this. I have just also added some few items on the legends, on what it means. It's up to you. You can also edit, or you might not need to edit. This is also important, especially if you have got some specific areas which you want to define the meanings so that whoever is going to use that document can follow. You can put as many legends as you want just to make sure that the definitions are okay. I would advise, if you want to have this updated frequently as a project manager, appoint a project administrator, because this is too much of administrative work. So appoint a project administrator to be capturing this information either in meetings or in any presentations or even any informal meetings that you might have. So this is quite critical. If you want to check another tool, which is a web application tool, you can also check the link in the description below. You can use that tool again to capture any lesson slide.